Spa-Francorchamps, the venue for race 3 of the weekend in the BRDC British F3 Championship. This is the 12th round of the series, and it has been a really lively weekend thus far, with two different winners. Christian Mansell winning race 1 and Roman Belinsky winning race 2, his first such victory in an F3 spec car. And of course, he's a newcomer to the championship, having only joined in at Donington last time, and he's doing as many F3 events as don't clash with his Formula 4 commitments. The pit lane has just opened, so the cars now making their way out onto the circuit, and the grid based on the reverse of the qualifying time. So this is the race with fewer points on offer, but you do get points for gaining places from your grid position to your finishing position. Now, race 2 yesterday was Roman Belinsky's victory, but it was Bart Horston on pole position with Zach O'Sullivan with him as they rounded La Source for the first time. Quite a few of them bouncing way wide, skipping over the curb. But as Horston led the way, Mansell and O'Sullivan went toe-to-toe, Belinsky being squeezed onto the grass. But he was really feisty, as we know from F4 and Ginetta's Roman Belinsky, and he made his move up past Christian Mansell. Belinsky, Mansell and O'Sullivan all using a full new set of tyres for that race, and Belinsky making the best out of them as he carved his way into contention. As the cars battle their way up towards Les Camps, Belinsky eventually found a way past Bart Horston and put himself into the lead of the race, as Christian Mansell then came up to attack Rhys Ushijima. Ushijima was given a penalty in the race of 5 seconds for abusing track limits. That was then rescinded post-race, so he was able to keep his 5th place. Hunter Yaney, new driver, made a pit stop as Zach O'Sullivan gained ground and gained points. He's had 2 second places this weekend, and therefore able to increase the lead in the championship, as Christian Mansell hung on valiantly after a win in the first race to 3rd place in race 2. But it was a first win for Roman Belinsky and a really impressive drive as he came through for his first British F3 success. So the cars now making their way round to the grid, ready for this 3rd race of the weekend. As I say, this is the reverse grid race for the BRDC British F3 Championship, and also not only is it that reverse grid that takes up attention, it's also what drivers are doing in terms of tyres. Max Maserati has on pole position a fully new set. Remo Jafali on the front row, 2 new tyres. Mikkel Grundtvig, Donington winner, he is on new tyres as well. Roberto Faria, 4th on the grid, is on new. Hunter Yaney, the 16-year-old American having his first European race, is 5th on the grid. He is on new tyres. Ayrton Simmons, who lines up 6th, is on half a set. Bryce Aaron is on used, so he's the first driver on a fully used set, starting 7th on the grid. 8th on the grid, Sebastian Alvarez, he is on used tyres. The Mexican Javier Sagrera, 9th. For the elite motorsport squad, he is on used tyres, and so is Tom Leben alongside him. So is Rhys Ushijima next on the grid. Roman Belinsky, who had a new set to win, is on a used set today. Christian Mansell is on a used set of tyres. Then you've got Jose Garfief, and he's on used. So on the back row, Zach O'Sullivan and Bart Horston. Why are they at the back? Because it's the reverse, remember, of the qualifying time. So Max Maserati, who is the slowest in the qualifying session, he is on pole position. He had a drama yesterday with the gear selector that went haywire, and it meant that he was stuck in 2nd gear for some of the second race. Now, what that meant was that he was absolutely flat out through Eau Rouge. He was very proud of that, but the trouble was it was in 2nd gear, so the ultimate speed wasn't that sparkling. But Max, as is his wont, sort of shrugs it off and grins and bounces back, ready to fight another day. And let's see what he can do from the pole position here on the 1x1 staggered grid. The cars, of course, coming to the grid now from the pit, so we've got the countdown yet to go, and we've got another formation lap, of course. 9 laps, the race, or 20 minutes, depending on which is completed first. And Max Maserati on pole position. So Max, who's had a 16th and a 14th for his weekend's work. There he is, comes to pole position. 21 years of age, comes from Tewkesbury, and sorry, the team from Tewkesbury, Max from Harrow, I should say, and is totally committed to his racing, to the point where he has worked early morning shifts in a biscuit factory. He's worked as a painter and decorator, a local authority door-to-door survey operative, and as a school holiday club assistant, all to get the money together to go racing. You cannot knock the guy's commitment and determination to be on the grid. So Max, huge fan of the sport as well, not just about driving, but the whole history of it. He's the man on pole position. Rima Jafali, the Saudi Arabian lady, lines up alongside. Rima driving for the Douglas Motorsport team, who was 13th in British F4 last year. Third on the grid, Mikkel Grundtvig, Donington winner. This is Roberto Faria, another driver that's made the transition from British F4 to F3. Did a bit of both at the back end of last season. There you can see the tyres on the car. We're told he's on a new set, so they've got a bit of pickup on the way round to the grid, as now the grid has to be cleared. Hunter Yaney lining up 5th then. He's had an 8th and a 15th out of the weekend. He's on new rubber. And 6th on the grid, somebody that's had a win at Spa in the past, namely Ayrton Simmons. He's also had 2 wins this year, has Ayrton. One at Browns in the opening race, one at Silverstone. And he's there 6th on the grid, as you can see on the outside of the track. But Ayrton Simmons, many people's tip for the championship, but it's just not happened that way, really frustratingly for him. So now then the grid is cleared. There'll be one more formation lap, and then the cars will slot back into place, and we will be in business for 9 laps of the BRDC British F3 Championship, round 12 of the series. The Arden squad had a good day yesterday with Roman Belinsky's win. The team watches on, as the cars should be waved away in a moment. Max Maserati sporting the Ben charity on the front of the grid, ready to go. And can he convert, when we get to it, that pole position into a good enough start to lead the race and try and get away from the opposition? Green flag now shown, and Max Maserati leaves 11s on the road as he puts the rubber down, blasts away. The CDR, Chris Dittman racing car then, down towards La Source. As I say, 16th and 14th over the weekend. Rima Jafali, a 15th and a 12th lining up with him at the front. Max Maserati, Rima Jafali, CDR, Douglas Motorsport, row 1, row 2, both the Fortec cars, Mikkel Grundtvig and Roberto Faria alongside. On the third row, another of the Fortec drivers, Hunter Yaney, the American, and for CDR, the second entry, Ayrton Simmons. Fourth row of the grid, the first of the Carlin entries, this, Bryce Aaron, the American, and for High-Tech GP, the Mexican driver, Sebastian Alvarez, lining up 8th. 9th, Javier Sagrera, the Spanish driver for Elite Motorsport, and then Tom Levin, also for Elite, a team new to the championship this year. He starts 10th ahead of High-Tech's Reese Ushijima, second in the championship. Roman Belinsky lines up 12th for the Arden team. 13th on the grid, Christian Mansell, double winner, had one yesterday, one at Brands Hatch. 14th, Jose Garcia for Elite once more. 15th on the grid, Zach O'Sullivan, the championship leader. 76 points to the good he is now. And then Bart Horston rounds out the grid. Zach O'Sullivan on 277 points to the 201 of Reese Ushijima. Christian Mansell's up to 3rd now on 193. Javier Sagrera and Bart Horston equal 4th on 149. And Roberto Faria is 6th on 145. There is Mansell. There is those Jose Garcia, I should say, and behind Zach O'Sullivan and then Bart Horston, who will round out the grid. So the drivers weaving around, getting the warmth into the Pirelli tyres on which they run. All of the cars the same, with the drivers having a Tatius chassis, a Mountune engine that delivers 230 brake horsepower, Pirelli tyres they're on. And it's therefore as level a playing field as you can get. It's down to the driver and the teams to get the best out of the package that they're given. And those teams with lots of Spa experience able to use the data to very good effect around here. So the drivers make the run down to the right-hander of Campus, out of the Cour Paul Frere, and then round to the grid. There, number 43 is Mikkel Grundtvig, who won the equivalent race at Donington at the last event, the reverse grid race, the 19-year-old Dane, who's raced in the Danish Endurance Championship, in the Formula 4 Danish Championship, the Renault-powered category, and his father a busy racer as well. So Mikkel Grundtvig coming from, like many, good racing stock. He's had a 14th and a 13th out of the weekend thus far, and Roberto Ferreira alongside, 12th and a 9th for the Portuguese, sorry, for the Brazilian driver, I should say, Roberto Ferreira. Down to the chicane now. Max Maserati trying to bunch up the field, get everybody behind him, and then he doesn't have to sit on pole position for too long. He will come down to the right-left now and then slot into place on the grid. But Max Maserati, Mikkel Grundtvig, Roberto Faria and Hunter Yaney, all on new tyres, could well bolt away here. Yesterday, interesting to see the way that those on half a set were able to stay with those on the new rubber, but that was at the very end of the day. Temperatures were dropping. Here, temperatures are rising. There is Rhys Ushijima. He needs to outscore Zach O'Sullivan in this race desperately in order to keep his championship hopes on track for this race. It is points to the top 15 rather than 20, and you get 20 points for a win rather than the 35 that you did in yesterday's races, because there are fewer on offer for this reverse grid, but you do, as I say, get the bonus points for making up places against where you finish compared to where you started. So the grid is complete just about. As soon as Bart Horston slots into place, we can have the indication given by the marshal that everybody has returned from the green flag lap. There it is. The drivers now look towards the light, which will in a moment go red. And Max Maserati has to control this start now as the lights are red, the lights are out, and away they go. And it's not a great start by Max Maserati compared to Mikkel Grundtvig or Rima Jafali. Jafali gets up to the outside line and instantly takes over the race lead, and Grundtvig goes by for second place as well, and Faria goes third. So Maserati is fourth at turn one, but there's drama there behind the graphic because going out wide, certainly Faria, possibly Grundtvig as well. Back on track they come, dive downhill then. And it is Rima Jafali in the lead of the race, with in second spot Grundtvig, third Maserati, fourth then is number 7 Roberto Faria, fifth was Hunter Yaney, off the road Bryce Aaron, the American driver going all over the runoff tarmac, gets it back onto the racetrack as Rima Jafali leads, uphill then, heading towards Les Combes, but Mikkel Grundtvig then goes from the slipstream to the outside line on his new tyres, as against half a set of new tyres for Jafali. Grundtvig takes over the lead then. Maserati is back up into third place as there, number 13 Rhys Ushijima having a really committed first lap. There are others off the road at Les Combes on the bypass, if you like, the tarmac on the inside. Zach O'Sullivan it was going off the circuit, but he's fighting on. Down they head into Bruxelles, others getting back onto the circuit, having run out wide. Bart Horston conceivably in the midst of all of that it was, and there he goes in penultimate place ahead of Bryce Aaron. Roman Belinsky gets run out way wide there coming out of Bruxelles, but he's back on the circuit and dives up the inside of the traffic then as they come through Speaker's Corner for the first time. It is a lively first lap, everybody trying to be on the attack here as they drop down towards Pouan, but up front Mikkel Grundtvig is trying to get clear of the opposition. Through they sweep, downhill now, Grundtvig leading, Jafali second, Maserati goes absolutely wheel to wheel with Roberto Faria and he goes through on the inside line. Max Maserati back up into third spot. Now, can he get onto the back of Jafali and can he clear Jafali's car before Grundtvig gets away here? Roberto Faria is another one to keep an eye to because he's 6th in the championship, and Roberto Faria coming now through Paul Frere, but having not been able to stay ahead of Maserati, might need to look to his laurels a little bit because behind him and closing is Alvarez. Then it's Hunter Yaney running in 6th spot then, the American F4 champion. So the leader, Mikkel Grundtvig, trying to do a Donington. He won the equivalent race a fortnight ago. The reverse grid race. He's leading here as Tom Levin in the elite car, the Ginetta Junior champ of last year, turns through further back. I think that Tom has lost some ground on the opening lap as now Roberto Faria comes up on the outside line and goes ahead of Max Maserati, retakes third place then down to the chicane. No longer a bus stop really, given its configuration, so up towards the timing line goes the race leader Mikkel Grundtvig at the end of lap 1, getting away through he turns. Second is Rima Jafali, in third place it is Faria, fourth is Maserati, fifth is Alvarez, sixth is Yaney, Ushijima seventh, Christian Mansell is eighth, and another effort is made. That on the inside line is Alvarez, and Max Maserati gets forced out wide. Behind Mansell 8th, 9th is O'Sullivan, and 10th is Javier Sagrera, and into the pits is Bryce Aaron for Carlin, having run out wide on the opening lap. So 1 of 9 in the book as the cars now blast uphill through Radion here. Well, there is Bryce Aaron with nose cone damage into the pit lane, so the Americans had a bit of a tough time here, a 10th and a 12th only. We know he's a bit quicker than that, as Zach O'Sullivan gets a bit of a squeeze on the inside line there, tries to get up alongside Christian Mansell as they make the run up the hill, then coming now into the braking zone for Les Combes, and he's gone through on the inside line. So Zach O'Sullivan, the championship leader, working forward. Roman Belinsky dropping away. Etton Simmons looks like he's falling back in the pack as well there, as the cars now head down into Bruxelles. More gravel is kicked up. So the drivers turn out of Bruxelles, down the hill once again here. It's a busy period for the F3 Championship because they race again in a fortnight's time at Snetterton, and then a week after that the Grand Prix circuit at Silverstone beckons for them, as here through the left-hander of Pouan they come. A drama ahead because way out wide has gone, by the look of it, Maserati and certainly Roberto Faria as well. So Max drops down, so does Roberto Faria, and a challenge is made there by Rhys Ushijima against his teammate Sebastian Alvarez, but he can't find a way by. And with cars rejoining and cars being delayed, that concertina as the pack behind looks some like Maserati out wide over the curb all of a sudden that long line of cars becomes an even longer one, and there are people tripping over themselves as they try desperately to gain ground. Grundtvig leading, Jafali hanging on to second place, and then it's everybody else for third, all in a queue. Tom Leben now there on the inside alongside 21 of Christian Mansell. The darker blue car is that of Mansell, the white and purple and yellow colours of Tom Leben. Standout driver in Ginetta Juniors last year, the elite motorsport driver, yet another to come through the Ginetta Junior ranks with lots of coaching from double British touring car champion Chris Hodgetts. And down towards the chicane there, look, the high-tech cars go wheel to wheel. It was Horston and Ushijima that tangled at Donington, with Horston being excluded for the contact. They do not want a similar thing with high-tech cars again in that squad. That's the last thing that the team can do with. Bart Horston, though, is struggling to make progress here, because as he comes over the line, he's in last spot trying to get up past Jose Garfias, even though others from near the back of the grid have made progress. So it's Grundtvig leading Jafali, Faria is third, fourth is Sebastian Alvarez, fifth Rhys Ushijima, sixth Hunter Yaney, 7th Zach O'Sullivan. So he has gone from 15th to 7th. In 8th place, Max Maserati, the man that was on pole. 9th is Javier Sagrera. 10th is Ayrton Simmons. 11th is Tom Leben. Roman Belinsky 12th and Christian Mansell 13th are two winners of the weekend. They've both dropped back, therefore. 14th is Jose Garfias. 15th is Bart Horston. 16th, having rejoined, is Bryce Aaron. And then you can change all that, because here they come, bobbing and weaving in towards Lecombe. There, Hunter Yaney has lost one place, as you see, because up and past him now has gone Rhys Ushijima. He's got Sebastian Alvarez behind him, so Alvarez has fallen back in the queue as well. Down towards Bruxelles they turn once again. Through the right, drop downhill. So the race leader, Mikkel Grundtvig, 2 seconds to the good. He's done the fastest lap as well, benefiting from all of the battles that are going on behind him here. Roman Belinsky, race winner yesterday, but at the moment, on his used tyres, struggling. And now Faria makes his move for second, round the outside at the Piff-Paff. Attacked at the Piff and has it done by the Paff, really. Round the outside at the first part, through on the inside at the second, so Roberto Faria goes by. Now, can he make up over 3 seconds against Mikkel Grundtvig? Grundtvig is on new tyres, so is Roberto Faria. So Faria comes now up towards the left at Blanchimont. Behind him, look, Rima Jafali under renewed attack from Rhys Ushijima. Now, Ushijima is ahead of Zach O'Sullivan, exactly what he needs to do for the championship here. So the race leaders emerge from the left of Blanchimont down towards the chicane. Rima Jafali having to go defensive to try to hang on to places now, having started second on the grid. So Grundtvig leads the way. That gap potentially up yet further, given that he's had to do some Faria has had to do some overtaking on that lap, so it is 3.3 seconds between them, but now Faria has a clear road. Roman Belinsky, interestingly, has done the fastest lap of the race. Now, how much of these fastest laps are down to pure pace or getting an absolutely ripper toe in the first sector? Discuss, but either way, Belinsky now 2:22.448. Great noise as the tyres rattle over the curb at the bottom of Eau Rouge there. They sweep through the right, up the hill, kink left at Radiant, climb the Camel Straight. Now, we have the gap between the leaders coming down. We've got Zach O'Sullivan on the grass once again, and Rima Jafali on the attack there, getting a toe against Roberto Faria, and he has brought the gap down in the first sector, and Zach O'Sullivan almost in strife there. He gets hung out to dry on the outside of Alvarez. Ushijima was forced up the curb as well, but Zach O'Sullivan, oh, so nearly banging wheels and getting into trouble, and he does not need anything like that for the championship. Jafali there goes through. So Rima Jafali trying to attack again and go ahead of Roberto Faria. I think she might well have done it for second place. There is Roman Belinsky now making steps forward once again, but up front, Mikkel Grundtvig leads the way. Jafali then runs second again ahead of Faria, so she did gain the place. Good racecraft. Fourth, Ushijima. Still Belinsky with the fastest lap of the race to his name. Press is on. Ayrton Simmons there is behind him as Belinsky does indeed gain another place. So Jafali now versus Hunter Yaney. So yes, Grundtvig and Faria are a long way up the road now. There is Roberto Faria who's gone through, Grundtvig even further up the road. So this is the fight for third. So it is Hunter Yaney on the attack. He has got himself up past Reece Ushijima, and Rima Jafali having to try to hang on to third place against Hunter Yaney, who's being very impressive indeed this weekend. Totally new circuit to him, new car, new team, new entry to the championship. The 16-year-old from Virginia, front runner in the Formula Regional Americas Championship, pole at Mid-Ohio, and has scored points in 11 of the 12 races he's done in that championship. And last year, 7 wins on his way to the US Formula 4 Championship. So Hunter Yaney getting more and more familiar with the car as their drama. Tom Leben and Max Maserati together. It looks like Leben got into the back of Maserati. Both get up the escape road. Tom Leben gains places but picks up damage. And poor old Max Maserati has another of those races that just unravels from pole position. So yet more drama for him. And he gets rather rudely shoved up the escape road and ends up last as he recovers. Or last in that queue. There's the struggling pit stopper Bryce Aaron even further back, but the order then, Grundtvig leading Faria, and the gap's going up. It's 3.3 seconds now. Jafali third from Yaney and Ushijima, and then Javier Sagrera sixth. Roman Belinsky is in eighth. Fastest lap of the race now done by Mikkel Grundtvig. But if Faria can break some of that gap, then a bit of the hard work can be done here with a tow. It's a Fortec 1, 2, 3 at the moment, though, because Grundtvig, Faria, and then Hunter Yaney up into third place. The order down to fourth is Jafali, Reece Ushijima fifth, and again Zach O'Sullivan in a battle and losing places. So 15th he was on the grid, 7th he got to, and now he's down to 11th place. Christian Mansell having just gone ahead of him. So Zach O'Sullivan rather yo-yoing through the order in this race, and at the moment it is not for the better. Carl's running wide out of Speaker's corner, and now Rima Jafari comes under attack. Look, because the attacker is Reece Ushijima, and he is making progress as best he can as Zach O'Sullivan, his championship rival, falls away. Reece Ushijima then, the American-Japanese driver, coming up from 11th on the grid, round the outside of Jafali, wheel to wheel, goes through, does he on exit? Yes, because Jafali's off the road and in the barriers. She runs out of road, through the gravel, clatters into the tar wall. Everybody else gains a place, and Rima Jafali's stoic defence within the top 6 ends, sadly, in retirement. But that means Ushijima gained yet another place, and therefore another bonus point for another place gained. Belinsky on the grass. He knows absolutely no fear, Roman Belinsky, just to ask anybody that's raced against him. And now he comes up to have a go against Javier Sagrera. That is the delayed Max Maserati going through. Also, Ayrton Simmons has now fallen to the back of the pack as well. And was it therefore Leben that got into the back of Ayrton rather than of Max a lap ago? Down they come into the chicane. Christian Mansell up the inside, and there's drama. In the midst of all of that, I fear Zach O'Sullivan might have got tangled up in it, certainly delayed. And as they come across the timing line, there are cars with damage, there are cars that are delayed. So the race order, Grundtvig leads, Faria second, Hunter Yaney is now third, Ushijima is fourth, fifth is Belinsky, sixth is Leben, Christian Mansell is seventh, Alvarez is eighth, 9th is O'Sullivan, 10th is Garcias, 11th is Horston, 12th Ayrton Simmons, 13th Maserati, 14th Sagrera. It was Javier Sagrera that was tapped into the spin. And yes, Ayrton Simmons a lap ago was the one that was given the rude awakening there by Tom Leben. Apologies. So Tom Leben has survived it with damage, but Ayrton Simmons, a winner here in the past, ends up being turfed down the order into 12th place. The run up towards Les Camps once more, and Mikkel Grundtvig comes to the right as Christian Mansell goes one side of Tom Leben and then the other. You can see the damage on the front of Leben's car. Christian Mansell accelerates up through Les Camps, looking the quicker, but the wider Tom Leben able to fend him off. We're getting track limit warnings, one to Max Maserati and another one is being shown to Zach O'Sullivan, the championship leader. So the race leaders plunge through Pouhon. We're on lap number 6. We've got 6.5 minutes to go and 3 laps to run at the end of this. So it's just about going to work out like it did yesterday, I think, in the second 9-lap race. Time and laps coincide, whereas in the slower, wetter first race, we lost a lap. Rima Jafali's car sitting in the gravel. Now, if anybody else goes wide, they're going to find that, but for the moment, there's no suggestion that the race is to be interrupted to get that from where it is. Whew. Except having seen that car go wide, which was Jose Garcias, that might just change people's opinion. 6 laps then will be in the book at the end of this. Christian Mansell there going through, having dropped back now from Tom Leben. But Mikkel Grundtvig looking as though 2 wins might go his way. But Roberto Faria has got other ideas. Faria in 2nd place has done the fastest lap of the race now, 62.1 in the 2nd sector. Improvement as well. Now Hunter Yaney improving in his sector times likewise. So down they come through the chicane. And Simmons through. Is that another place gain? It is. So he's working his way back to where he was before he got Lebened, in a sense. So the leaders through. That's the Hunter Yaney Rhys Ushijima battle. Ushijima now fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 20.934. And again, part of that might well be a toe because he's inching up all the time onto the back of Hunter Yaney. So Roberto Faria is catching the leader. Has he got time left in which to do it? 1.4 seconds back, so he's halved the gap against the leader. There they go up the hill, heading towards Radion now. Hunter Yaney running in that 3rd place. Rhys Ushijima 4th, Belinsky 5th. Here are the leaders, and you can see how much the gap has come down by, and it's going to come down again on this lap in the 1st sector. So in sector 1, a 42.8 versus a 42.4. So 1.4 seconds is 1 second already. Yaney under attack from Ushijima. That's going to rather distort what at the moment is Richard Dutton's perfect 1-2-3 finish. A lockout on the podium for Fortek. Rhys Ushijima, the fastest lap of the race to his name. Zach O'Sullivan's yo-yo race is on the up again because he's now back up into 8th spot. So part of this is his own pace, part of it's what's going on around him as other people get in strife. But keeping out of trouble is all part and parcel of reverse grid races, and there in the pit lane is Sebastian Alvarez. So the high-tech car is in and in trouble by the look of it. So the leaders once more sweep through the left of Pouhon, drop downhill. And Rhys Ushijima then, fastest lap of the race, trying to get himself into contention now. That car of Rima Jafali looks like it's at a different angle, as though somebody's tried to move it. But it is so beached in the gravel that you need a vehicle to get that out. All it's done is rather change the angle to make it even more at 90 degrees to the road. So I'm not sure that was a successful plan. However, we're on lap 7 of 9, and we've got 3.5 minutes to go in the race, and Mikkel Grundtvig is still under attack because Roberto Faria is closing up all the time here. Zach O'Sullivan still banking points. Now he runs 8th. Championship rival Rhys Ushijima runs 2nd, and Christian Mansell runs in 7th place. So for Zach O'Sullivan, 76 points ahead. He's on target for 8 points. Ushijima is on target for 13. So it's not going to make a massive dent in the championship margin. As look at this for the lead now, 7 tenths over the line. 2 laps to go. And it's going to work out on the time as well. So the penultimate lap, out of La Source they come. Now down the hill once again. For Fortek, the Brazilian driver Roberto Faria then chases the Dane, Mikkel Grundtvig. Roberto Faria, who's not yet had a win in these cars, is getting closer and closer, corner by corner, and another chunk of time is about to be gained here because he's in the tow. This will drag him up onto the back of his teammate. Does he go to the outside line? Yes, he does. He tries to make the move here, wheel to wheel up towards Lecombe. Faria is brave, but not that brave. Grundtvig brakes really later, and so he goes a little bit deep into the corner, has a moment, and loses the lead. Roberto Faria goes through, and Mikkel Grundtvig, by trying to defend to the very last, outbraked himself, ran deep into Lecombe, but the net result is he's compromised, and through goes Roberto Faria then. So last year he was in the British F4 Championship in the UK with a couple of podiums, 11th in the Championship in 2019, and now Roberto Faria, who did get a podium at Silverstone in his part F3 season last year, could be on for the top step of the podium because having hit the front, he's getting away. Hunter Yaney there, still 3rd, keeping at bay Rhys Ushijima. Downhill they turn through Pouhon once more. And here as the cars accelerate up to the pit path again, Rhys Ushijima running out of options really in terms of how to make a move against that 3rd place car. Plus the yellow flag is against him anyway at the pit path because of Rima Jafali's car in the gravel on the exit of that section of the circuit. So the leaders through there. Number 13 is Rhys Ushijima. Blast their way out of Blanchimont And now on the run down to the bus stop, the chicane, and Ushijima close, but not close enough to make a move there. Now what does he do? Does he think about banking points, or is it really worth throwing everything at third place? Ideally, you want to apply the pressure, let the gap come to you. Now, Zach O'Sullivan and Max Maserati, 5-second penalties for track limit infringement. So, number 81, Max Maserati, but significantly the championship leader, Zach O'Sullivan, 5-second penalty for track limit. So where is that going to drop O'Sullivan post-race? We'll have to see. But on the last lap, Roberto Faria leads now by over a second from Mikkel Grundtvig. It's still Hunter Yaney in third place, and there's confirmation of that penalty coming. Up the hill comes Faria, building that gap. Look at third. Ushijima is ahead. Hunter Yaney tries to get the toe, but Ushijima sweeps right across the front of the car to prevent that happening. And now, as they round Les Combes, all of a sudden we've got a high-tech car up into third place, and the Fortec dream result has gone as Leben up the inside of Bart Horston just scrabbles by and gets away with it. That was brave stuff. And now, look, in the mix is Ayrton Simmons, and he gets past Bart Horston as well. So Ayrton Simmons' recovery drive continuing nicely here. Downhill into Bruxelles they come. Ayrton Simmons still busy fighting, but he's kept the place ahead of Bart Horston now. So that is 8th, 9th and 10th, all squabbling on this last lap of round 12 of the championship. Down to Poel once again here. Turn left. Tom Leben in his first season of single-seater racing. Looking very promising and continuing to learn, as also, of course, is the team, Elite Motorsport. Eddie Ives' team that's had great success in Ginetta Juniors and effectively taking over the Lannon Racing entry in cars that has been a mainstay of the championship for a number of seasons, and Elite impressive right from the off. Fortec, very established single-seater team, and leading the way for Fortec, a 1-2. Roberto Faria ahead of Mikkel Grundtvig as they come now into Blanchimont for the last time through that long, fast left-hander. The runoff on the outside of the road now set the car up coming into the chicane, go right and go left, and it's going to be a maiden win then for Roberto Faria. 3 different winning drivers, 3 different winning teams over the weekend, and 2 first-timers. Roberto Faria wins here in the BRDC British F3 Championship at Spa. Mikkel Grundtvig takes second and Rhys Ushijima third. Hunter Yaney fourth. Real shame that he got knocked off the podium right at the very end, because it had been a really impressive debut as Tom Leben just gets ahead of Ayrton Simmons over the line. The gap between those two was a 1/10 of a second, that was all. And Zach O'Sullivan is shown as being 7th at the end of the race. I think that's with the 5-second penalty applied, but Zach O'Sullivan 7th, 3rd Rhys Ushijima, so he does give away a few points in that title battle, but not a massive number. But a good race, and good to see drivers, and it always happens at Spa because of that long Campbell Straight and the ability to overtake and use the toe to your advantage. Good to see drivers rising and falling through the order, but good action provided by the BRDC British F3 Championship this weekend. So there is a very happy Roberto Faria. It's been a long time coming, that win, but it has happened, and Mikkel Grundtvig denied a second win of the season right at the very end there, but drove a very good race nonetheless. So the cars will complete this in-lap. Roberto Faria, Mikkel Grundtvig and Rhys Ushijima will make their way to the podium. And the next stop in 2 weeks' time for the BRDC British F3 Championship will be Snetterton. So Roberto Faria is the race winner from Mikkel Grundtvig, and Rhys Ushijima taking third. Hunter Yaney fourth from Roman Belinsky and Christian Mansell. 7th, Zach O'Sullivan from Tom Leben, and then Ayrton Simmons. Bart Horston 10th ahead of Jose Garcias. Javier Sagrera 12th from Max Maserati, and then after his pit stop, Bryce Aaron 14th, and Sebastian Alvarez also after a pit stop 15th. The one that we lost was Rima Jafali. So Roberto Faria will be a very happy man. Finally, he's had that win. It's been a long time coming, but he's got there. Next stop, as I say, is Snetterton in 2 weeks' time, and then the championship moves to Silverstone on the Grand Prix circuit a week later. It goes to Walton Park in September, 11th and 12th, and the final races of the 24-round championship are at Donington over the weekend of the 16th and 17th of October. So Roberto Faria takes 20 points for his race win, started 4th on the grid, so extra points for gaining places, and he will be a very happy man indeed on that podium when he gets there shortly. So there is the winning car, the winning driver, the Fortec team, Richard Dutton's squad. Based these days in Daventry. And Richard himself, no mean racer in Formula Ford 2000, going back a long, long time, and still busy now in historic races, mainly in historic touring cars. Roman Belinsky there, who's had a good weekend with a race win. Let's have a look at the highlights of that race, with a good start being made by Rima Jafari. Max Maserati bogging down a little bit, and that cost him valuable time off the starting grid and also left him in jeopardy for the first few laps, but the cars negotiated their way around the Nassau's hairpin. Rima Jafari claiming the race lead before the run up the hill, and with Bryce Aaron having damaged the wing, he was an early pit visitor. It wasn't long before we had Mikkel Grundtvig hitting the front. We had Bart Horston running out wide, and then very wide indeed went Faria, and also off the road Max Maserati in his efforts to stay with that leading group. Riso Shijima trying to make progress in number 13 against his high-tech teammate. There was the usual squabble coming out of the bus stop chicane, with Christian Mansell, one of the drivers, busily involved in that. Roberto Faria brave round the outside of Rima Jafari. That gave him the place. They went into the pit path. Faria then set off in pursuit of Grundtvig, as Roman Belinsky, having done a fastest lap of the race, also was trying to attack and gain ground on the inside as they ran down the hill once more. But then we lost Rima Jafari on the outside line, the car running out of road, bouncing into the tar barrier. That was a yellow flag situation to the end of the race, and there was more drama down at the chicane that did for Javier Sagrera as he got turned around. Christian Mansell busy squabbling with Tom Leben with damage, having got into the back of Ayrton Simmons, and when Mikkel Grundtvig ran too deep going through the approach to Le Camp, up and past him went Roberto Faria into the lead of the race and into victory. And as the other battles raged on, Tom Leben was one battling lower down. A race win for Roberto Faria. Next stop is Snetterton in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you there. For now, from David Anderson at Spa, it's goodbye.